Hey everyone, and welcome to Demolition Derby Week 4 core class. So today what we're going to be doing is working on the tracker sprite. So at the bottom right hand corner of your game, you'll see a gold coin that says tracker. I want you guys to right click on this and duplicate this sprite. It'll create a new sprite called tracker 2. I want you guys to come up where it says sprite in tracker 2, and I want you guys to rename it to demo. You can rename this sprite. It's found right underneath the game window where the sprites are, and it'll say sprite and then tracker 2, and you can select it there and just rename it to demo. Once you guys have renamed the duplicate tracker sprite to demo, go to the code at the top left hand corner of the screen, and under your code we want to look for where it says when I receive new lab. I want you to grab it by where it says hide, and this whole block of code will be taken out. All I did was move it over to the right hand side of the code and place it into the white space. We don't want to delete it. Next, what I want to do is I want to grab it by where it says set is original checkpoint to no. Take that off, and then grab where it says set total checkpoints to 0. Grab this and drag it off to the side to delete it. Then what I want to do is I want to place this back together. So I grabbed it by the set is original checkpoint to no and reattached it to set checkpoints touched to 0. And then I'm going to grab it by where it says create checkpoint, the second one. And then I'm going to grab where it says set is original checkpoint to yes and attach it underneath where it says create checkpoint -42 to -27. Next, what I'm going to go ahead and do is grab where it says create checkpoint, where I have this whole block of them, and I'm going to drag it off to the left-hand side and delete it. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab our block code where it says hide and put it back inside our if-then statement underneath when I receive new lab. So this is what it should look like when you guys are all done. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down until we find define create checkpoint. And we're going to grab it by the bottom where it says change total checkpoints. We're going to drag that and drop it on the left hand side to delete it. Lastly, what I want to do is I want to scroll down to the bottom where it says when I start as a clone, and then it'll say show, and it'll have this block of code right here. What I want to do is grab it by where it says forever, just move it off to the side, grab it where it says if, and there's like this big block of code right here. I'm going to delete all this by dragging it off to the left hand side. Then I'm going to grab the set ghost effect to 50, delete this by dragging it off to the side, and then grab where it says forever and reattach it to the bottom of our code underneath show. Next, what we want to go ahead and do is go to the left hand side and click on the variables. And at the top of variables, it'll say make a variable. We want to go ahead and click on that bubble, and then click on the bubble that says for this sprite only. And we want to create 3 variables. So the first variable we want to create is going to be called box touched. Box touched. And then when I have it named, I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to click on the button that says make a variable again, and then click on for this sprite only. And then the next one I'm going to name is going to be called a box clone X. Box clone X. And I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to make another variable. I'm going to click on for this sprite only. And then the last variable is going to be called box clone Y. And then I'm going to click OK. And now I have 3 variables that I created: box clone X, box clone Y, and boxes touched. Lastly, what I'm going to do is under variables, each one of these variables that I created has a check mark next to it. I'm just going to uncheck them so that way they don't have the check mark anymore. Next, what I want to do is look under the code, and where it says when I receive new lab, and then underneath it'll say set checkpoints touched to 0. We're going to change checkpoints touched to boxes touched. So the new variable that we created called boxes touched, we just want to click on our drop down and then click on that one. Next, we want to scroll down and look for define create checkpoint X, Y. And where it says set checkpoint X, we want to do box clone X, and where it says set checkpoint Y, we're going to do box clone Y. Lastly, what we're going to do is scroll down to the bottom where we have the when I start as a clone, show, forever, and then go to X, and then there's some blocks of code here. We want to go off to the left-hand side and go to, and under looks, grab switch costume 2 and put that underneath show. And it's going to say costume 1, and that's what we want it to be set to. Then we're going to go to control and grab if then and put it inside our forever block of code underneath the blue go to X and Y. Next, we're going to click on sensing and look for touching mouse pointer and drag that inside the bubble for if then and click on mouse pointer to change it to player 1. Next, we're going to go to looks and grab switch costume to costume 1 and put that inside of our if then statement. Then we're going to go to sound and grab start sound and put that in here and change it to pop. Now I have a different recording, so you guys would just go to the sounds tab, go to the speaker with a plus sign, and search for pop if you guys don't have it already. Then I'll click on pop, go back to code, and where it says start sound, I'm going to change it to pop. Lastly, what I'm going to do is go to control, grab the wait 1 second at the top, and put it underneath my start sound pop. Change 1 to 0.5, which is half a second. Next, what I want to do is where it says checkpoints clone X, I want to grab this bubble, drag it off to the side, and where it says checkpoints clone Y, I want to drag that off to the side as well. I'm going to click on variables and grab my box clone Y and put that into the second bubble, and grab box clone X and put that into the first bubble. To finish it off, what we want to do is go to control and look for delete this clone and drag it and place it underneath wait half a second. So wait 0.5 seconds. Under that, we're going to place delete this clone. Once you guys have that, if you guys don't have this, please go ahead and pause the video here and rewatch it if you guys need to before moving on to the next step. Once you guys are done, what you guys are going to do is go to the top left-hand corner and click on costumes. You guys are going to go then you guys are going to hover your mouse over where it says costume 1 on the left-hand side directly underneath the costumes tab, and then right-click and duplicate. This will create a new costume. If you guys also would like to, you can go to the bottom left-hand side where the cat with the plus sign is. If you hover your mouse over it, it'll say choose a costume, and if you click on the paintbrush, it'll create a new costume as well. Once you guys created your new costume, you want to make sure that there's nothing in it, so click this trash can where it says delete. And then what you want to do is click on the box tool. Once you've selected on the box tool, click on fill, and I'm going to go with a brownish color for the fill, and then I'm going to leave my outline as black. In the center of my screen, I'm going to drag to create my box, and then I'm going to move it to the center of the screen. Once I have created my box and moved it to the center of the screen, what I want to then do is click on this line tool, and I'm going to draw a line from the corner of the box to its other corner diagonally, and do the same thing to both corners. So now my box is like an X going through it. Next, what we're going to go ahead and do is for costume 1, the gold tracker coin, you guys can go ahead and delete that, so that way the only costume in there is the box. Next, what you guys are going to do is rename it to costume 1. So up at the top left-hand corner where it says costume, then it'll say costume 3. You guys could then just, or costume 2, just rename it by clicking on where it says the name and then just type in costume 2. Once you guys have renamed the box, what we're going to go ahead and do is go down to the bottom left-hand corner, hover our mouse over the cat with the plus sign where it says choose a costume, and click on the paintbrush. What we're going to go ahead and do is click on the box tool. I'm going to click on the black color to make it black inside the fill, and then I'm going to create a box shape. Once I've created my box shape, I'm just going to go ahead and move it to the center of the screen. Then I'm going to click on the select tool, and I'm going to click on the box itself, click on fill, And then I'm actually going to change it to a white color, so the inside of it's white and the outside of it's black. Then I'm going to click on the Reshape Tool, which kind of looks like a mouse cursor with the plus with a little ball at the top of it, so it looks like that. If you hover your mouse over, it'll say Reshape, and then if you click on the box, you'll see that a blue line appears around the edges of the box, and then there's these little dots. What we want to do is create a new dot by clicking on the center of the line, and then pull that dot towards the center. And do this to all 4 edges. Once you guys are done making your little star shape, go to the code at the top left-hand corner of the screen and scroll down till you see When I Start as a Clone. Inside of it, you'll see a forever block of code, and inside that forever block of code, you'll see switch costume to costume 1. We're going to change that to costume 2. Now remember that there is a costume above this one right here, where it says switch costume to costume 1. And then we want that one, but just below it, the next one says switch costume to costume 2. So the top one says costume 1, and the one below says costume 2. Once you guys have done that, you guys are done with this. Once you guys have changed this code, you guys are done. If you guys would like to add more boxes or change the location of the boxes inside of the demo sprite, what you guys are going to go ahead and do is click on When I Receive a New Lap, and inside here where it says Create Checkpoint -420 by -24, you guys can create more of these just by going to My Blocks, dragging Create Checkpoint, and putting it underneath the other Create Checkpoint and typing in a number like, say, 100, and then like 10. So X is horizontal, so left to right, and Y is vertical, so up and down. So just go ahead and mess around with that and see where they spawn up in your world, and if you need to, you guys can always change these numbers here. As always, guys, thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye, everyone!